Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition podcast. We're talking about Canada Day today. This is your boy, Kingy Chris Glass. I'm a homegirl.
This is Free Law.
I'm Manila.
Da Vinci.
Yeah, so today we're just going to get into Canada Day, how we feel about it, how we feel about Canada, our experience, and what we can take away from it. Anybody want to jump on here and start firing some shots?
Well, I'll go.
All right.
Well, I think one of the first things you jump off the bat and then you're like, okay, listen, man. Okay, here, like you could go anywhere and you hardly find it in Canada that you got Karens calling the cops on you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it does happen.
It says otherwise.
No, it does happen. Don't get me wrong. It does happen, but it's not like the States. Like, every second. Plus, honestly, there's just something about Canada, man. I just think Canada is peaceful. We are polite. Y'all know that. We're polite people.
Racism
Beautiful.
with a smile. I said racism with a smile.
Yeah.
Oh, and a Coke.
Yeah.
I mean, but isn't that also judging a book by its cover when you say that, though?
No. A homeboy of mine put me up on some game, right? So the Ku Klux Klan was actually in two. Sorry, I smoke. My tongue's. They were embedded in Alberta until 2003. That's a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what I'm saying. They were embedded in Alberta, the KKK, as a corporation until 2003. I tell people this all the time. I have conversations with, doesn't matter where they're from, where they're at. Canada is like a baby America, except nicer. So we live in Canada. We live in Calgary, Alberta. Alberta's baby Texas. Calgary's baby Texas, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fair for me to say. Toronto is a baby New York. Montreal is like a baby New Orleans. Van is like a baby San Francisco. The reason why I say that, Toronto, big inner city, everybody's going, everybody's moving. Similar to New York. Montreal, party city. You go there for culture. You go there for the new style, whatever it is. New Orleans. San Francisco and Van, island, nice water. Everybody is kind of trying to be progressive, but they see what's going on. They don't really want to do nothing too much about it. They just try to appease. That's why they have their own druggy strip. Tell me where else in Canada you can go somewhere and say, this is where all the junkies hang out. Don't worry. Let's just walk through, make sure they're okay, and give them some needles so they can continue doing drugs.
It's called harm reduction.
Oh, thank you.
I have to put it out there for the nature of my work. I'm like, yeah, but it's called harm reduction. That's all.
Right?
Okay.
So me, first generation born Canadian. Okay? I love
Hey, hold on. Sorry to cut you off, but you forgot, Alberta, Texas, cowboy.
Well, yeah, okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Now, I'm born and raised here in Toronto, okay? That's why my lingo and, the way I move is kind of different than most Calgarians. Now, Calgary, I've experienced the most racism growing up. And it wasn't overt, a lot of it. A lot of it was covert. I can give you an example as easily as last week. I go, and like I said, it could be the temperature of what's going on now with the COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement. But this is something that I've seen multiple times. I go into a store. There's another gentleman there of Asian descent. He sees me in the store. I'm standing 10 feet back, not 6, 10 feet. I'm at the door. His face is screwing up. He started talking in his language. He's looking at me and he's saying stuff, and I can know that he's saying nothing nice about me. Okay? Mm-hmm. He doesn't finish his transaction. He goes outside, starts yelling at whoever in the car about whatever. I go now, do my transaction. As I'm doing my transaction and I finish and I walk by him, he says some other shit in his language underneath his breath. I looked at him, I said, what? And he kind of tried to play it off, and I said, you know what? I'm not even going to start that. I'm just going to get out of the store and go do what the heck I was planning to do. Canada, great. Calgary, we live in a redneck city. I hate to say it, but I love to say it because it's me being honest and me taking accountability from about where I'm at, where I live, the people I see. I live in a neighborhood that's predominantly people of color. There's crime here, just like anywhere else. But I have skinheads that live, 7 houses down from me. I got another set that live, a block away from me. Now, they don't say nothing now because I think because of my size and my attitude towards people like that is very like, if that's how you feel, cool, keep it in your house. But if you come outside here, you might not get welcome the way you think you might get welcome because I'm not promoting violence, but if I feel threatened, I might have to do you harm because I don't know where you're at. I'm not here to trouble you. I'm not here to trouble your kids. I'm not here to take away your livelihood because guess what, buddy? I was born here. I've had them tell me, go back to your country. I was born here. You want to see my birth certificate? So where am I supposed to go?
Yeah.
That's how I cut it off, but that's the ones, that whole freaking saying, it's ridiculous. It's
Go
so
back to your
annoying.
country.
Yeah, like it's
You want
so...
me to go back, but how comes you come with all of your friends and come with me and my ancestors from where we were chilling? You brought us here.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me to go back and you've infiltrated where I call home anyways? No.
Yeah, that whole bird right there just drives me nuts. I swear. Go back. Yeah. And then so many different races used against other different races too, and I'm like, really?
Well, one thing that I've learned, I was reading an article a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month and a half ago, and it was talking about systemic racism within Canada, especially for immigrants that just get here, or even immigrants that have come in the past even 20 years and their children weren't born here, but their children were fairly young and trying to grow up here. And there was a very clear distinction that Canada has between minorities themselves, right? So there is the group of bad minorities, which is the Indigenous people and Black people. And then they have what they term as the good minorities. Those are the people, that are of Asian descent, South Asian descent, East Indian descent, because they have the ideal that this group of people of color, well, they listen, they're very hard workers, in a sense, they don't talk back, blah, blah, blah. You turn them towards the factory and you say, go. And they do as they're supposed to do. So those are the good minorities. And then what that brings up is then that racism amongst all people of color. We're all othered, but they've even created the idea of a hierarchy amongst us who are colored. And to your statement, Nye, that there isn't too many Karens here in Canada that are calling the police on the regular and making noise and ray. I beg to differ that I think it still does happen in a very different way, and it's not as forcefully projected towards us as Black people, but you trust and believe that, our Indigenous brothers and sisters, they're suffering big time. It's just that, what, we would call or equate to the projects in the States is what they have them doing out on the reservation. Right? And it's like, well, keep them over there in the corner. But, as they are trying to grow and progress and improve their lives, I find it hard pressed that, as they're living in any community here, that they don't have that heavy stigma upon them and have, that Karen right there in the curtain and every 10 seconds pulling the blind down, watching what they're doing as, they're just trying to be.
Yeah. For me,
No.
yet again, I want to state, I love Canada. I would rather be born here than any other place. Not to shit on my Jamaican. Renee, just chill. I'm not trying to distance myself from my culture, which is Jamaica. Hold on one second.
Well, yeah.
No, he's very, very right. In many ways, it's a gift to be born in Canada. Why did our parents leave where they left?
Yeah.
To go just anywhere else. And it's not even because they don't love home, but they knew that the opportunity, back in the 60s, 70s is still greater elsewhere than it was at home. And the same still rings true today in 2020. The amount of people that if they could leave back home, wherever back home is, and come to Canada, even over Europe, even definitely over the United States, right?
Yeah.
I'm proud to be Canadian in that aspect, but I think that the larger population in Canada have stuck to, well, since racism doesn't look like it does in the States here, it really doesn't
exist.
Oh, it does. It does.
And it full and well did and does.
It's just covert, right? It's not overt.
Yeah. But as I was born in Jamaica, like Jamaica will always be home. I mean, Canada's my adopted home, but like Jamaica is in my heart forever. That's home. That is home. That's where I was born. That's home. Yeah, but like Canada, like Dee said, I love Canada, but I'm not naive to say that racism is not here and a lot of Karens are not here. I'm just saying, like Dee said again, right? But it's totally here. But would we rather live here 100 times than live in America? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, back to what I was saying though, it's like, the covert racism that I've experienced in Canada and living in Calgary has hardened me in the way of when we were talking about the word nigga and the word nigger. Like, it's been that word's been said to me so much. That's what I was saying. Like, the sting as a youngin that I had for it. Now, I laugh. I look at them and I feel sorry for them because they're not educated enough to realize. And like I said, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I have to be that guy right now. I have to be honest with myself and take accountability for what I see and what I know. This land, this country does not belong to anybody here but Indigenous people.
Right.
Let's be honest. Okay? On top of that, I had a conversation with an Indigenous person who I'll say Native, and it's not just, I'm not trying to disrespect them when I say Native. I just say Native is, Métis or Cree or whatever. I had a conversation with this girl, and I was explaining to her, like, we can't blame everything on white people. Not all of it's white people, especially for Indigenous people, because they have people over there that they put in power who are stealing from them, who are filling their pockets, who are not looking out for the better of their whole community. They're looking out for the better of them and a few selective people. Right? And I have to be honest like that, because the amount of money that they've gotten through government for their reservations should not look like that. Excuse me. They shouldn't be in poor, run-down conditions. They should be building communities that look just like the community me and you are living in right now. Just as clean, just as safe. That's not happening. Why? Because everybody, doesn't matter what color, everybody's out for themselves. Absolute power corrupts absolute. Okay? Just like our government right now. We like I tell you all the truth. I didn't vote until last year. I never voted. Now I'm reading, I'm studying. Yeah, we need to put people, like, to change this systemic racism. We need to put people in place who have the same ideas as us. We're in 2020. Nobody should be discriminated against unless they're committing a crime. It shouldn't be because you're black and you're in this area, or you're walking around somewhere where people aren't familiar with seeing you. Should not be a crime.
Yeah.
Okay.
This redlining that goes on in America and goes out here in Canada, let's be honest, there's a lot of redlining going on. They're trying to put us, when I say us, I say people of color, in certain areas, and then say things like black on black crime. No, it's proximity crime. You put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, what's going to happen? The crab that gets to the top, the rest of them are pulling them down. It's not the ones at the bottom's fault that they're pulling them down. It's the fact that you confine them in such a space where nobody has a chance to get out. And the ones that do sometimes don't fully get out. Because there's the ones that
that
are
or they have to keep on going back to the bucket because the rest of their people are in there.
Right? You see what I'm saying? So for me, I love Canada. Happy Canada Day to everybody. But we need to address these things, not just on this podcast, not just when we're at home by ourselves, not around our friends. We all need to adjust this. We all need to address this. We all need to get out, read, learn about voting, figure out what these politicians and what these officials are doing, and we need to make sure that we hold them accountable for what they're supposed to do. That East Indian person that got kicked out of I can't even remember his name, for NDP, who got kicked out of the house because he addressed something that somebody was saying that was overly racist. He shouldn't have been kicked out for that. That shows you that we do have systemic racism within our higher class, because him calling somebody out shouldn't be a problem. It should be applauded.
Yeah.
It should be talked about.
Okay. Back to your voting thing there. Okay, but how do you know? How do you know that the person you're voting for has a real meaningful motive, agenda and motive behind wanting to do good? Because I think we'll all be naive when we sit here. They're all going to say the right thing, and at the start say do the right thing and say the right thing to get in that position. And it's a proven fact. They all do it, and as soon as they get there.
But it's, I think, not to trivialize it, but it goes back to even what we were just saying in our last pod. Can you separate the person
from the message?
The artist from their, all of them have a platform, right? And you're not going to find somebody that 100% aligns with your views and your views alone. They couldn't do it because, Canada, or if we look at, municipally or provincially, has all of these different ideas and all, hundreds and thousands of different people that have different ideas. So you're going to have to, if you do choose to vote, really research what that platform is, and then you hope for the best, or as I put it, pick your poison.
Yeah,
because one platform elevates this, the other one that might not be on their agenda, but there's another piece of their agenda that work right, and you just have to try and balance it. I'm that person. I've never voted. I haven't voted yet because I'm always like, yeah, but they, I get stuck in trying to find that one person that their platform is 100% aligns with everything that I think and feel. Yeah. And, now I'm recognizing that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. So it's either you go and you lean to the best, but that takes, sometimes a historical context as well as currently what they're providing in terms of what their platform is to make your decision, or you don't vote. And as cliche as it is, if you don't vote, then you can't bitch and complain. So they say, right? Yeah. So, that's even a learning for me, but I find it difficult because I'm trying to make that person 100% aligned before I say, okay, you're it. And it can't work that way because I'm not the only citizen in my province, in my city, in my country that this one individual or this one party has to speak for and address.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I'm really trying to get at is everybody needs to come together. We all need to voice our concerns and what we feel is most important to get addressed, and we need to all stand behind it. So even if it's just reforming of the police, um, financial education for everybody,
Yeah.
don't care where you're at. It's teaching the school curriculum from the time you hit grade 5 until you're done college. If we now start finding ways to get funding to help the indigenous people learn, Renee, to learn. Okay, go upstairs. Okay. We all go pick money up. Yeah. Okay. It is nice. All right. Love you. Okay. We make it so the indigenous people, they get to learn their culture. They get to understand their heritage. Because for me, a lot of the stuff that we're taught in school, some of it doesn't relate to life after school.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? A lot of things that this Black History Month. No. We need Black history every day, every month, period. We need to learn everything. All of everybody's history needs to be explained, not just one side or one group.
One perspective, because also too, all of our histories are, to a certain extent, or at least to a certain point in time,
are intertwined.
They are all absolutely intertwined. They are all absolutely intertwined. Yet when we do history, we get the World War I and the World War II, and this is the first premier or blah 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 of this province, but we're not seeing how all of those very, very important events in racialized lives play into the creation of this country, right? And what the trajectory or the trickle effect is on us as individual cultures and, of course, as Canadians, right? All of that seems to be missed or laid out because it doesn't look good, right? I saw on our good friend Coot on his page, he had shown a letter that was written. He had reposted this letter that was written to parents of Indigenous children from the Indigenous schools, right? And it was saying, we're giving you the privilege to see your children this Christmas. After we've taken your children from you, okay, abuse them, throughout the 60s scoop and going further, but we've abused them, we've forced them or want them to assimilate, and deny their culture and all of this. And now we are giving you the privilege to see your children, but these are the criteria. And if you don't meet these criteria, well, you don't get to see your own kids. None of that is anywhere in no history book.
Yeah.
And it's because it makes Canadians uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Why do we still talk about racism? Isn't it over? Can we go and say, isn't World War I and World War II over? Why do you guys still celebrate it every year?
Can I say something? Because I know you don't want to say it. I'll say it makes white people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It makes white people uncomfortable. And I'm not listen, I got tons of white friends. And I put up a post the other day because I found something out about a friend I knew 20 years ago who was saying some stuff and participating in some stuff that I felt very disappointed about. I'm not here to tell white people that they need to bow down and kiss my feet. I'm not here to tell white people it's your fault why things are the way they are. I'm here to tell people, listen, you're not about this. Your ancestors created this. So help us all colors, all people, all human beings correct this and make sure that everybody has a level playing field. Yeah. Because guess what? For us Black people, it's sports or entertainment.
Yeah.
Lots of us get education. But some of us don't get to where we're at because of the roadblocks that are put in front of us. We've got to jump through hoops. I had this conversation with a guy that has a platform with kids called Cadoodle, and he was telling me that his great grandfather was part of the KKK, and that's not what he believes in. And I had to explain to him, and I said to him very clearly, I said, dude, I'm not here to listen to your history and judge you on your history. I'm here to judge you on what you do now, how you address it now, how you feel about it now. Because guess what? I can't go back to those days and fix that. We can't go back there and fix that, but we damn sure can fix everything today. We can make sure that our children and their children and everybody's children get a level playing field. Okay? They get the proper education and they know about their culture and their history. Yeah, it's ugly, but everything that's good has an ugly part to it.
Yeah.
Okay? As much as people don't realize, the Nova Scotians that are here, and most of them, they're descendants of slave owners. Me, as a Canadian whose family's from Jamaica, and Nigel, you know what I mean? Our families practically runaway slaves. They said, "Oh, we ain't staying over here," or they were on the boat and said, "You were going where?" And jumped off and went to an island and called it Jamaica.
Yeah.
Literally. Did you see what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's reparations. But you know what I want for reparations? If I was an American or if I was to get reparations now, I want the same credit. If I have the same credit score as Steve, me and Steve get the same fucking, the same interest rate. I want to go build a business or buy a house. You give me the same interest rate you give Steve. Don't be talking to me about, you know what? If me and Steve make the same amount of money and got the same money sitting in their savings, and we got the same amount of liquid assets, we should get the same rate.
Equity.
Yeah, but even at the same time, you might have more money than Steven, or you might have a higher score than Steven, but Steven's still gonna get it because you know why he got it.
Which is unacceptable.
Right? Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what we want. That's what we wanted. We just want it. If we have it, we deserve it, we get it. Not because we don't want to get turned on because the color of our skin. I know. How many times can we say that? Right?
Okay, so where does it come in then? This is a little offside, but being the devil's advocate again, where does it come in then that us as people of color, because, DJ, you said we can't blame everything on the white man.
True.
So also the evolution of them and this situation also has to involve us. And there's times when people of color do use their race as a crutch. I have a credit score of 2, and Money Mart, $1,600, and then I'm going in for a loan, and I don't get it, and I'm saying it's because I'm black.
Yeah, true.
No, it's because your credit score is 2. You're not operating yourself in a way that is going to build up that credit score or increase your income opportunities because you're able to raise your level at the job that you're doing, or, take on a different job and things like that. So also, where does it come in where we really recognize that at times we have to take our own accountability in this entire system and series of events as well?
Yeah. I mean, like you just said, when you mess up like that, you got to own it, right? You can't be passing the blame on, and looking for discrimination. That's you. That's on you. So you got to own that one.
And I get that there's a lot of generational stuff that we carry forward, from our parents and their parents, and, our children will take some generational traumas and things like that inform some of the decisions that we make. But we can't always say that it's only because of this, when it's also just the choices that we're making that aren't good. Or, I'm not saying to go to work and be an absolute coon and erase who you are in terms of your identity, but sometimes you're not getting that promotion, not because you're black, but truly because you're not qualified.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, like I was saying about the reparations, right? I forgot the guy's name. He's a famous guy. He was on Breakfast Club. I don't know if you guys seen it. It was a couple days ago where he said we shouldn't be fighting for equality. We should be fighting for equity.
Equity. Absolutely.
Equity. We
Equity. Yeah.
forget this whole treat me like John. Nah. Guess what? You're gonna give us what everybody gets. If you go to work, you work a job, you pay your taxes, you build your credit properly, you don't have any outstanding bills, you pay your bills on time. I don't give a damn what color you are. You get the same treatment.
True.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. If I want to invest in a business as a black man and have a great credit score, I have to jump through a lot of hoops to get that loan. Why? And I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about Canada here right now. I have to jump through a lot of hoops and protect myself in so many ways, while Billy don't have to do that. Because Billy's dad might know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who puts him in a position, who vouches. And you know what? I'm not here to blame people for having connections. The problem is we don't have enough of our people in positions to give us that. And we can't expect NBA players, NFL players, and rappers and people in the entertainment industry to solve everything for us. Do you know what I mean? We are the most talented culture. We are the most talented group of people. If people can't get behind that and understand that, there's something wrong with them. Because guess what? Like I've said 1,000 times before, everybody wants to be black, but nobody wants to be black. We've created so many avenues through what we're doing that the problem is we don't stick together. Akon is a prime example. Yeah, I don't like him doing that stuff with Snitch 9. But guess what? He went back to Africa and created some type of stability for them to have jobs, for them to have education. That's what we need to be focusing on. That's, as a people, whether you're poor, rich, whatever, we need to band together, come up with ideas, don't shoot each other down. Just because I disagree with somebody, I don't need to call them a coon. Or you know what I mean? Unless they're Candace Owens. I'm sorry. Yet again, I don't mean to keep bringing her up, but sometimes I listen to the stuff she says, and I feel like I should bang my head against the wall. I wish she would, but I want to bang my head against the wall because I'm saying we need to be together. We can disagree. We can agree to disagree, but we need to come to some solution and have certain problems that we want to address and address them appropriately as a whole.
No, back to you. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, Nye.
Okay, back to your point there. We should come together and all of that stuff. Listen, we do have it. We can come together, but I don't know what's wrong. The way we think sometimes. Hey, look at this, right? Look at this team. Look how many rich athletes we got.
We've got tons. But sorry, not to cut you off, but that's why you see that shut up and dribble. This is what I'll give LeBron James credit for. And I'll never take away, no matter how much I dislike him as a player, okay? More than an athlete, more than a vote. He has been technically almost the Muhammad Ali, without the sacrifice, but the Muhammad Ali of our culture who's trying to push through social agendas and make sure that everybody has an equal voice. Sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah. But okay, look how many of them we have from all different type of sports, right? And
all
it wouldn't
different types of fields, like Denzel Washington.
It wouldn't take every single one, probably not even 1%, to put the pressure on the other owners and other leagues to create our own league. Not just for black people, but a league that's owned by a black person that can, hire black coaches, many black coaches you want. Hire a white coach because he deserves it. You know what I'm saying? Right? Do you know how that? But why do we not do that? Why can't 5 NBA players come together?
Well, I think This has, for me, I see it as, when we're being sold this dream, that we're taking from society, we've been told many a times that, yeah, all you can do is either entertain or play sports. So, everybody wants to be that rapper, everybody wants to be that athlete, and that's it. In terms of the Black identity, and it makes me wonder. The other day, I was looking for a Black dermatologist here in Calgary. Where are they? Where are they? I need to, I want to take care of my skin, blah, blah, blah. But I also want somebody, or at least a person of color, that's going to get it. That's going to be able to truly understand what I do. I saw an article just yesterday, and it was about here in the city of Calgary. So why don't they teach at Marvell College and all these, schools doing beauty and aesthetics? Nobody teaches how to do black hair anywhere.
But
so why can't we should be creating our own in terms of ownership, not who has access. It's all inclusive, right? Mm-hmm. But also we need to start owning these buildings, these colleges, these committees, all of this, and put it out there too, because we need to do a lot of repair that's generational, not just on the surface or relational, but things that are going to cause, a trajectory for 20, 40, 50, 60, 100 years from now.
Yeah, but let me go. At this time, we got to take responsibility too, that some of it is our fault.
Yeah.
Right? We got to, because as you can see, as the Asian people, the Indian people, you see, they come together, and you have guys. They'll build a building, and they'll build a shopping complex, and they build it, and everyone comes in. Right? Do we do that?
Yeah, that's still something as a culture we need to learn. We need to learn how to do that. We need to learn how to hold space for each other. We need to understand that the scarcity mindset that we have of supporting each other doesn't mean that there's not going to be enough for us.
Exactly.
Right? For me to support this person doing this, that, and the third, or, pay full price for something isn't diminishing or taking away from what I can get.
Mm-hmm.
Or the majority of it is on this new child.
Yeah.
Not that none of her other children matter, but this one right now needs you the most.
Yeah.
Needs the focus over here. Yep. The survival of this little one, and it isn't going to do very well without the support and recognition. So, yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yet again, Happy Canada Day.
Canada Day.
Black Lives Matter. And when I hear people say all lives matter, let me explain something to you. I don't hate you. I get upset because I wish that you would just open your heart and open your ears and realize that if we make one change for one group of people who have been oppressed for over 400 years. I know y'all can't probably count who's saying all lives matter 400 years. It doesn't just pertain to the people in America. We're talking worldwide. You've seen that in China with the corona, how they were treating African people who were living there, not doing anything wrong. Yet again, let's all come together and make change so that we all can live better. Right now, my people, our culture is being sucked dry and killed. We need to focus on stopping that. That's been embedded in all systems. It's not just an American problem. It's not just a Canadian problem. It's a worldwide problem. Okay? Thank y'all for listening. Yet again, tune in. We're going to try to drop 3 or more videos a week. We've got a sports one coming up pretty soon. Y'all should check it out. Thank y'all again from your boy King E. Crush Glass and my homegirl,
Queen Freela.
and Manila.
Nai Vinci. Don't
Thank
forget,
y'all again, man.
like,
Thank you.
subscribe, notification,
Hit that
build
bell, baby.
with the fam. Yeah.
All right. Bless.